This is Higher 1 Chapter 2. In Chapter 2, we're going to be covering fractions, how to add them, subtract, multiply, divide. And we're also going to be covering problem solving that involve fractions. Now, when you're adding or subtracting fractions, you have to make sure the denominators are the same. So, we look at the example here. We have 7 over 8 minus 3 over 4. Now we need to work at the LCM of 8 and 4. Once you work it out, then you can make the denominators the same. So the LCM of 8 and 4 is 8. So the only fraction here that's going to change is going to be the 3 over 4. So we have to times the denominator by 4 to get 8. So we times the numerator by the same number we times the denominator. So we're going to get 7 over 8 minus 6 over 8. Now our answer would be 1 over 8. Now we're going to be covering the first question. We want to work at the values of the following questions in the simplest form. Now, simplest form means that if you have a solution like 5 over 10, you simplify the fraction into 1 over 2. Now the first question, we have 7 over 10 plus 12 over 35. Now once you work at the LCM of 10 and 35, which is going to be 70, we times them both by the appropriate number to turn them into 70. Now 10 times 7 will give us 70, so it means that we times the numerator by this exact same number we times the denominator by. Now I'm going to times the denominator by 2 here to turn it into 70. I'm going to times the numerator by 2. We're going to get 49 over 70 plus 24 over 70. When we add them up, we get 73 over 70. Now we have an improper fraction here. We want to turn it into a mixed number. Now 70 will go into 73 once. So we're going to put 1 here. Our remainder is going to be 3. And your denominator never changes. Now, let's look at the next question here. Question number 4. Question number 4, we're doing addition. So, first we need to convert these mixed numbers into improper fractions. So we're going to multiply the denominator with the whole number on the side. And then we add the numerator to that number. And remember, the denominator does not change. So 4 times 5 is going to give us 20. Add 1, 21 over 5. Plus 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2, 11. 11 over 3. Now the LCM of question number 4, we're adding two mixed numbers. So what we're going to do is convert the mixed numbers into improper fractions by multiplying the denominator by the whole number on the side and adding the numerator over here. And we do the same thing for the fraction next to it. Sorry, the mixed number next to it. So you're going to get 21 over 4 plus 11 over 3. Now the LCM of 4 and 3 is going to be 12. So you times this by 3, times the numerator by 3, times the denominator by 4, times the numerator by 4. So we're going to get 63 over 12 plus 44 over 12. When you add them up, we're going to get 107 over 12. Now 12 goes into 107 how many times? 8 times. Our remainder is going to be 11, and our denominator stays the same as 12. Question number 6. We have 3 fractions. Now the LCM of 3, 24 and 8 is going to be 24. So what we're going to do here is multiply the 3 by 8 times the numerator by the same number. 24 doesn't need to change. The 8 gets multiplied by 3, numerator by the same number. So we're going to get 8 over 24 plus 5 over 24 minus 3 over 8. So when we're solving it, 8 plus 5 is going to give us 13 over 24. Remember, you don't add the denominators. So we're going to do minus 3 over, that should have been 24 at the bottom. 3 over 24. And that's going to give us 10 over 24, which can be simplified further into 5 over 12. Question number 9. The diagram shows 3 identical shapes A, B, and C. Now in shape A, they're showing us that 3/5 of the shape is shaded. So what fraction is unshaded? That's going to give us 2/5. Now on shape C, 7/8 are shaded, so 1/8 is unshaded. Now the question's asking us, what fraction of shape B is shaded? So we know this unshaded section here is going to be 1/8. How do we know? Because this dotted line is telling us that these two lines meet. So the fraction will be exactly the same as all 3 shapes are identical. So this section here is going to be 2/5. Now to work out the shaded area, the fraction of the shaded area, what we're going to do is add the unshaded. So we're going to get 1 over 8 plus 2 over 5 times it by 8 times it by 8 times it by 5 times it by 5. And we're going to get 5 over 40 plus 16 over 40. Now once we add the fractions, we're going to get 21 over 40. Now 21 over 40 is unshaded, so we want to work out what fraction is shaded. Now all fractions of any shape, the same shape, will always add up to 1. So if we had 1 over a and 2/5, when we add them up we got 21 over 40. But the shaded section, when it's added on, is going to give us 1 whole. So we're going to do 1 minus 21 over 40. And that's going to give us, now 1 as a whole number can be changed into a fraction by writing 1 over 1. Now when I write it as 1 over 1, I can give it a different denominator. So I can work at the LCM of 1 and 40. That's going to give me 40. So you times it by 40 here and by 40 here. So we're going to get 40 over 40 minus 21 over 40. Now our answer is going to be 19 over 40. And this fraction of the shape is shaded. Exercise 2.2 is multiplying and dividing fractions. Now, whenever you're multiplying 2 fractions, you want to make sure that you're simplifying it as much as possible before you multiply. Now, the first question here, 2 over 5 multiplied by 3 over 4. Now, you can only simplify a denominator with a numerator or a numerator with a denominator. So in this case, we can divide 2 and 4 both by 2. So this becomes a 1 and this becomes a 2. Now I can't simplify any further, so we're just going to multiply the numerators together. 1 times 3 is going to give me 3. Now you multiply the denominators by doing 5 times 2, which is 10. And in some cases you can't simplify, such as in question 1b. So what we're going to do is just simply multiply the numerators and the denominators. So 9 times 6 is going to give us 54. Question C. Here we're dividing 2 fractions. So what we need to do is turn the divide into times. Now to do that we need to follow a simple rule called KCF. So you're going to keep this one the same. You're going to change the sign and you're going to flip the fraction after the sign. So that's going to give us 7 over 8 multiplied by 6 over 5. Now before we multiply the 2 fractions, we want to see if we can simplify. So 6 and 8 are both multiples of 2, so we can divide them by 2. We get 3 here and we get 4 here. 7 times 3 is going to give us 21. And 4 times 5 is going to give us 20. Now this is an improper fraction, so we're going to convert it into a mixed number. So 20 goes into 21 once, and our remainder is 1, and denominator does not change. Now next question we're going to do is question G. First step is going to be to convert the mixed numbers into improper fractions. So 5 times 4 is 20. Add the 4, it's going to give us 24. So we're going to have 24 over 5 divided by 3 times 5 plus 1 is 16 over 3. And now we're going to do keep, change, flip. So you're going to have 24 over 5 multiplied by 3 over 16. Now here, 24 and 16 can both be divided by a common number. And that number is 8. So divided by 8, we're going to get 3. Divided by 8, we're going to get 2. Now 3 and 5 can be simplified. 3 and 2 can be simplified. So what we're going to do is multiply the numerators and denominators together. So 3 times 3 is going to give me 9. 5 times 2 is 10. Question 2a. Work out 1/6 of 24 meters. So what we're going to do here is write down 1 over 6 multiply, because when we're dealing with fractions, the word off means multiply, by 24. Now you're working out a fraction of a number. Now remember, you multiply by the top and you divide with the bottom. Let's change that. So the number here 24, it's a whole number, but as a fraction it's a numerator. Why is that? Because if I was to turn it into a fraction, it would be 24 over 1. Now remember, you can simplify numerators with denominators. So what we're going to do here is simplify the 6 and the 24. And that's going to give us 6 divided by 6 is 1. 24 divided by 6 is 4. And 4 times 1 is 4. So 4 meters is my answer. So now we're going to have 3 over 4 multiplied by 672. Now it's not necessary for me to put it over 1, because now I know I divide by the 4 first. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. And 672 divided by 4 is going to give me 168. Then 3 times 168 is going to give me 504 pounds. So don't forget the units. Problems involving fractions. Now, the first example here is excellent. It's a good example of showing what type of questions might be given to you. So school has 1,600 pupils. 740 of these are girls. 3/4 of the girls are swimming. 2/5 of the boys like swimming. Work out the total number of pupils in the school who like swimming. So what we need here is a number of boys and girls. Now we know there's 740 girls. To work out the number of boys, we do the total number of pupils, subtract them, and we're going to get 860. Now, what fraction of boys like swimming? It's 2/5. What fraction of girls like swimming? It's 3/4. So we're going to do 740, work out 3/4 of it, and that's going to give us 555. Then we're going to do 860 multiplied by 2/5. That's going to give us 344. So when you add 555 with 344, we're going to get 899. So let's move on to one of the questions. Let's do question number 3. A pair of shoes was sold at 5/8 of its original price. If the original price was £48, how much was a pair of shoes sold for? The original price is £48. Now, simply, all they want us to do is to work out 5/8 of 48. So you're going to do 5/8 multiplied by 48. Now 8 divided by 8 is 1, 48 divided by 8 is 6. Multiply the 5 and the 6 and we're going to get £30. So the pair of shoes was sold for £30. Now the next question. A man travels 3/8 of a journey by train and 3/5 of the journey by bus, and he walks the rest of the distance. And what fraction did he walk on foot? Now here we need to work out the sum of the journey that was taken by train and that was taken by bus. So that's going to be 3/8 plus 3/5. So the LCM of 8 and 5 is going to be 40. So we're going to multiply the 8 by 5, numerator by 5. Multiply the denominator by 8. So we're going to multiply its numerator by 8. So we're going to get 15 over 40 plus 24 over 40. And that should give us 39 over 40. Now remember, one whole journey is one whole, and we have a fraction of the journey that was taken by train and by bus. So from one whole, we're going to subtract 39 over 40. Now you could put the 1 over 1, but remember, here the denominator is 40, and one whole with 40 as a denominator would be 40 over 40. One whole as another fraction could be 100 over 100. Anything over itself will be 1. So we know now we're doing 40 over 40 minus 39 over 40. That gives us 1 over 40. Now this is the answer for question A. Now question B is asking for the total distance travelled by walk. So what distance travelled by walking? So we're going to do 1 over 40 multiplied by 80. So 0 and 0 cancel out. That becomes 1, that becomes 2. 1 times 2 is 2. So 2 kilometers of the distance was covered by walk. Question 5. In a book, 5/8 of the pages have pictures on them. Given that 70 pages have at least one picture on them, work out the total number of pages in the book. Now, okay, we have X number of pages, so we want to work out the value of X, which is the number of pages. So we have X number of pages, and we know 5/8 of X is going to give us 70. Now this is a little bit of algebra, but there's another way to approach it, which we're going to cover next. So what we're going to do here, we're going to take this fraction to the other side. So X is going to equal to 70, 70 divided by 5/8, which is the same as 70 times 8/5. Now once you work this out, we're going to get 112 pages. Another approach you could do is by saying that 5/8 of the book is 70 pages. So 1/8 is going to be how much? So we're going to do 70 divided by 5. That's going to be what? 5 goes into 7 once. Remainder 2. So that's going to be 14. So now we're going to work out one whole, which is 8/8. So what we're going to do is multiply 14 by 8. And that's going to give us 112 pages. So now question number 8. So the diagram represents a part of a machine. In order to fit this part into the machine, the part must be between 8 and 16 and 8 and 1/16 starting from now. The diagram represents a part of a machine. In order to fit this part into the machine, the part must be between 8 and 1/6 and 8 and 3. The question says, we have this part and we want to see if it fits into the machine or not. And they've said it has to be between these two numbers, 8 and 1/16 and 8 and 3/16. Now, will the part fit into the machine? You must explain your answer. Now here, what we need to do is first see if the part is in between these two numbers. So we're going to do 3.5 plus 4 and 5/8. Convert them into improper fractions, and that's going to give us 7/2 plus 37/8. Now once you work at the LCM, which is 8 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 4, we're going to get 28/8 plus 37/8. When you add the two fractions, we're going to get 65/8. Now we're going to convert the 65/8 into a mixed number to see whether it's going to be between these two numbers or not. So we're going to get 8 and 1/8. Now we want to give it the same denominator, so we're going to times both numerator and denominator by 2. So we're going to get 8 and 2/16 centimeters. So will it fit in the machine? Yes, it will fit in the machine, as it is between 8 and 1/16 and 8 and 3/16. Question number 9. So work at the area of this rectangle. Now to work at area, all you have to do is multiply the length and the width. So area equals to length times width. So that's going to be 3.5 multiplied by 2 and 2/3. And once you convert these into improper fractions, it's going to give us 2 times 3 is 6 plus the 1, 7/2 multiplied by 8/3. Now simplify it and you get 1 here and you get 4 here. Multiply it out, you're going to get 28/3, which becomes 9/1/3 meters squared. So even if you have a fraction or a mixed number, if they're asking for area or perimeter, you would still have to put the units. Question number 10. On a farm, 4.5 acres out of every 15 acres of the land are used to grow crops. Wheat is grown on 5/8 of the land used to grow crops. What fraction of the total area of the land on the farm is used to grow wheat? So first of all, the first sentence, it says out of every 15. Now out of every means a fraction. So if I say 2 out of every 10 people, on a farm, 4.5 acres out of every 15 acres of the land are used to grow crops. Wheat is grown on 5/8 of the land used to grow crops. What fraction of the total area of the land on the farm is used to grow wheat? Now, the first sentence is very crucial, as it says out of every 15 acres. Now, when you say out of every 15 or out of every 5 or whatever, it means a fraction. So they're trying to say 4.5 over 15. For example, if I was to say 2 out of every 7 people have a green t-shirt, that would be 2 over 7. So what they've done here is complicated a tiny bit, but you can make it simpler by turning the 4.5 into 4.5 over 15. So if they said 4 acres out of every 15, it would be obvious, and you would write 4 over 15, but because you have a mixed number, it's quite confusing. But the key word here is out of every. So if you see this in any sentence, it means that you're going to have this number over the number mentioned after. Now it says 5/8 of the land used to grow crops is for wheat. So we're going to multiply it by 5 over 8. Now the first thing I want to do is turn the whole numerator into a whole number. To turn 4.5 into a whole number, I can simply times it by 2. So I have to times the denominator by 2 as well. So we're going to get 9 over 30 multiplied by 5 over 8. Now 9 over 30 can be simplified by 3. So 9 divided by 3 is going to give us 3. 30 divided by 3 is 10. Now 10 and 5 can be simplified further by dividing it by 5. And you get 1 and 2. Now we can't simplify anymore, so we're going to multiply the numerators and get 3. Multiply the denominators and we're going to get 16. So the fraction of the land that is used to grow wheat is 3 over 16.